Good evening, everybody. This is Danny Thompson. Check with you live here for the BuzzCity post game show live here on Haps TV or the Haps app, as well as Zingo, Facebook Live, YouTube, and everywhere you hear the sound of my voice. I am your host, Danny Thompson, senior writer, NBA writer for the 3-point conversion, covering your Charlotte Hornets. And this is the best post game show you're going to find about the team from All Fly, Charlotte, North Carolina, and the now 6-5 Charlotte Hornets tonight as they took care of business over the New York Knicks in blowout fashion tonight by the score of 109-88. So if you're watching the show for the first time, welcome into the show. If you've been to the show a few other times, thank you for stopping back by. Also, subscribe to my channel on Haps, as you see in the corner logo, hapstv.com at Danny Thompson. Also, at the same time, subscribe to the channel. That way, every time I go live, you'll get all the notifications as well too. And also support myself as well too. If you want to see more great NBA and Hornets content, please support by just dropping just a simple $1. Also, if you're inside the Haps app as well too, you can also donate the coins as well too. Because for those who don't know how Haps work is, it's a broadcasting tool that allows people like myself who are journalists across the United States and across the world actually to be able to talk about different topics, as well as, everything that goes on. For me, it's sports, and for other people, it's news and everything else in between. So if you are enjoying my broadcast, please download the Haps app today and subscribe for more content, and you'll get 100 free coins just for joining, so you can support my work as well too. So let's talk about the Buzz tonight. Listen, it's been a very long time since the Hornets have been over 500 after 10 games of the season. It's been since the 2018-2019 season, so it's been a while. The Hornets tonight not only started out the game on a 10-0 run to start the game. They had low moments in the second quarter, but they finished the game off because when you have guys like Gordon Hayward, you have a team full of guys that are just playing at a high level. Tonight, it was much more of a balanced effort. We'll talk about Gordon in a second. You had, 6 guys in double figures tonight, and not even one of those guys was LaMelo Ball. They played an outstanding defensive game, held the Knicks to 24.3% shooting from downtown. They couldn't do anything either. All right. It was a combination of the Hornets offense and the Hornets defense that held them on to their 4th consecutive win in a row. And Charlotte, listen, they're getting better and better every game. Don't want to rock the boat, but this is arguably, to me, it's been the best game the Hornets played all season. I know I've been saying this for a while for the last couple telecasts, but this has been the best game they've played all season from start to finish, 48 minutes, and that includes that lull period in the second quarter where I think they missed like 10 of the first 11 shots tonight in the game. So if you're in the chat live, by all means, leave a comment below. We'll definitely post it on air. And like I said, like, share, tag, get all your Hornets friends involved in it, because, listen, this is a movement and a roll that's starting to roll. Because, listen, every game, Hornets fans want to. Okay, you know what? Let's go back to the beginning of the season when Gordon Hayward was signed to Charlotte to that $120 million contract. Hornets fans look sideways to the franchise. Like, what are they doing? They just got out of a big contract in Nick Batum. They didn't pay Kemba Walker the year before, and now Walker's in Boston. They ended up getting Gordon Hayward out of it. Well, if you look what Gordon Hayward did again tonight, and what Hayward did in that first half. 28 points in the first half. He tied the second most points, not only in his career high, but the second highest point total in any half in franchise history, tying Glenn Rice, falling short of the numbers set by Kemba Walker, who had 35 in one half in 2018. But on top of all what Gordon Hayward did was he was 10 for 10 from the free throw line. Also, if you're in the chat like Precious, you can either wave, like we appreciate her supporting all the way from Virginia Beach. And she also donated 10 cents as well, too. So we'll take all donations. We really do appreciate it. Or my man Mike Patton in the chat also speaking up from Nashville. And yes, Mike, they did take it to the Knicks tonight. And thank you once again, Precious, for your comments. I appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about Gordon Hayward tonight. Listen, Hayward was everywhere. He finished the game 11-17 from the floor, 10-10 from the free throw line. But what he also did was he is the first Hornets player to go 10 for 10 in a game since Marvin Williams back in 2019. Hayward just setting new career highs, it seems like, on every single night. That first half, that 28 points, just spark plug. It started from the beginning of the game. He was hitting jump shots, hitting three-pointers. We saw him getting to the line. But he makes the Hornets so much better. And it's like a different type of vibe. You can see Gordon just having fun. He's having fun on a nightly basis. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And on top of the fact that being beautiful was the Hornets start in the first quarter. Even though it was 31-25 at the end of one, Charlotte pretty much had a double-digit lead. I think as many up as 18 at one point in the first quarter. But what they did was they came out and blitzed the Knicks from the very beginning. Charlotte had struggled with had struggled with slow starts. They've been slow starting literally all season. But tonight, what they did was they came out from the tip off, and the Knicks looked out of it. The Knicks, who had been blown out the night before, didn't even look the same team tonight. You didn't even know the Knicks were even on the floor at certain parts of this game tonight. So the broadcast seems to be chopped on my end. I'm not sure what it is. All right, so maybe this is a little bit better. So if you're in the chat and you're watching it, if it still feels kind of choppy, please let me know in the chat because I can't see the broadcast on the other end. So back to what the game is going on tonight. So back with the Hornets, the start of the game, Charlotte came out with a 10-0 run, and the Knicks couldn't find a way to catch up. They were down 10-0, and this is all without LaMelo Ball. Hornets fans have been asking, why is LaMelo Ball not the starting lineup? He does different things, X, Y, and Z. He starts the break. He does this, he does that. But Charlotte came out tonight and did the same things they were doing. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Mike, for letting me know that. Everything's good. So what the Hornets did was they hit shots. They did what they were supposed to, and it was just on not just offensive end. They did it on the defensive end as well, too. The Knicks couldn't hit anything in the first quarter, and it was really struggling. Reggie Bullock wasn't in the lab, so he started Austin Rivers. Listen, when I saw Austin Rivers starting the game, I was completely pleased myself as well, too. Austin Rivers really hasn't, no offense to Austin Rivers, but when you see Austin Rivers in your starting lineup, if you're the other team, you're kind of happy to see him in the starting lineup. Austin Rivers did finish the game with 13 points, but when you go back to look at the effort from the game tonight for Charlotte, it was the start. They got shots open. Devontae Graham was getting open. Devontae Graham was also knocking down shots. Hayward took the game over in the very beginning, and like the Atlanta game, like the Brooklyn game, and like the second half of the New Orleans game, Gordon Hayward looked like a $120 million man who was playing like a man possessed, knocking down everything in the corner. He was getting to the lane. It was a different thing. And I even asked Coach Borrego, the Knicks this season, coming into the season, you had Julius Randle playing at an all-star level. And I asked him in pregame, was playing against Zion Williamson and John Collins over the last 3 games a good barometer on how to deal with Julius Randle? He said, yeah. Because he compared a lot of Zion's game to Julius Randle, not mentioned because they're left-handed, because they're ball dominant, because of the fact of they move the offense around to around Julius Randle. The Hornets swarmed. The Hornets moved. I swarmed, of course, that's the thing. But they swarmed around the offense, and they moved the Knicks. The Knicks couldn't do much in the first quarter. Now, at the end, they started to find their rhythm, and they started knocking down threes at the end of the first quarter. And that's the only reason why this game was a 6-point game at the end of the first quarter. When you go into the second quarter, Charlotte went through a little lull period in the beginning part of the second quarter because the thing is, Charlotte didn't get their first turnover to midway through the second quarter. What happened was Charlotte couldn't hit shots. I think they missed 10 of their first 11 in the second quarter, and the Knicks was just burying shots here and there. They were getting Elfrid Payton to the line. They were just Manuel Quigley. They started finding guys and started finding rhythm. And Kevin Knox, listen, Kevin Knox had a phenomenal first half for the Knicks. He knocked down, 4 3-pointers in the first, 4 or 5 3-pointers in the first half, but it was really all of them from that same right elbow in the corner where they just kept finding him open. No matter who was closing out, it was going in. But Charlotte decided in the second quarter with LaMelo Ball, being LaMelo Ball, grabbing that rebound and pushing, grabbing and playing passing lanes. LaMelo Ball has done something in every game to show that he is a much mature rookie than we ever seen before. James Borrego said the night before he's never seen anything like it. Grabbing rebounds. He's literally probably the tallest player in Charlotte's rotation now that Jalen McDaniels has kind of been pushed out of the rotation. Melo and Bismack Biyombo are both around 6'8", so they're both right around the same height. So when you have those two guys, and LaMelo is so active, to be 6'8" and probably about 190 pounds, LaMelo gets in there and he pushes, he grabs rebounds, he goes for effort all game long, and you love to see that. But there's nothing better than, listen, there was one part, I'll go back to the first quarter, LaMelo grabbed the rebound, and literally launched it down the court, literally looking like he should be starting for the Carolina Panthers. About a 70-yard bullet, 30-foot bullet down to Gordon Hayward, who hit a turnaround fadeaway jumper in the first quarter. But that's some of the things you saw. Mike Patton in the chat asked, is Kevin Knox finding himself? Well, listen, when you get open looks, and we all know what Kevin Knox is, he's a shooter, it's going to go down. Tonight was one of his nights shooting the basketball effectively behind the three-point line. Like I said, he was 5 of 12 from the three-point line, 7 of 17 from the floor. It's about time because the Knicks had no other offense on the floor. But back to LaMelo Ball and what he was doing. Listen, Ball was grabbing rebounds, and when he was grabbing rebounds, he was making putting his teammates in great position. What we also saw more of in this game was the 3-guard lineup with Terry Rozier, with Devontae Graham. I'll get to Graham's performance tonight in a second. And they were running that offense together. PJ Washington didn't have the 6 blocks he had the other night. He wasn't blocking everything like he did, but he was serviceable. Biz was blocking shots. And even Miles Bridges blocked a couple shots in the game as well, too. The Knicks aren't really good in the interior, so it was nothing really to worry about. But as the Hornets started getting that lead back, because they trailed, I think, 1 point in the second quarter. I think it was a 1-point deficit. Charlotte got it together. They started giving Hayward the ball. Melo was distributing. And even though Melo's shot wasn't falling tonight, a lot of the plays you saw offensively for LaMelo Ball tonight was very super aggressive. Caleb Martin had a big play. And can we just talk about another great performance from Miles Bridges tonight, 11 points, but his rim protection with the 2 blocks and his all-around game, including knocking down a couple more three-pointers, gave himself there. Mike Patton about Julius Randle. Besides Randle, the Knicks aren't really consistent. Well, listen, Julius Randle had a bad night tonight. Give the Hornets credit on defense. They only held Randle to 11 points on 9 shots tonight. Couldn't do much there, but third quarter comes around. Charlotte starts pulling away. LaMelo Ball, he had 13 defensive rebounds, by the way. He was pushing the break. He was getting it, pushing the break, finding guys there. And I was just talking about the growth and maturity of LaMelo Ball. There was a part, and I think I want to say the second quarter, where LaMelo reached out with one hand to steal the ball, and he turned a fast break and literally got I think it was behind the back late a pass to Martin for a dunk. And those are the types of plays on fast breaks that Charlotte needs. He just does so much with the ball in his hands, and I'm not going to say ball dominant, but he has so much vision. And for a 19-year-old kid, it's just a beautiful thing to watch. Devontae Graham, he did his thing tonight, 19 points, 7 assists. Hornets fans, like I said, he's going to find his shot. Tonight, his shot was much better, 7 of 15 from the floor. Yeah, he did miss 6 of his 8 3-point shots, but remember, he was active. He was shooting the ball. He showed confidence. He still pump faking a little too much for my liking, but he still was effective offensively. Terry Rozier only had 12 points tonight. A little bit, not his offensive night, which is okay because of what Hayward did offensively. You don't need to have Terry score 40 points when Gordon Hayward's playing the night he had as well too. Mike Patton talked about the Hornets' size. Listen, we talk about the size of the Hornets tonight. In some cases, it does hurt. If you look at the rebounding margin, Charlotte got killed on the boards tonight. I think this is the first time this season the Hornets have won a game where they got out-rebounded like this. It was a negative 12 on the defensive boards tonight. And I mean, they allowed 17 offensive rebounds to the Knicks tonight. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't pretty on the glass side of things. I know Coach Borrego has tried to preach this team rebounding, but listen, some things are better than others. And when you win a game like this, you'll take it. Even though the Knicks couldn't, the Knicks struggled to rebound. But even though the Hornets struggled to rebound this game tonight, if you look at the numbers around the board, you hold the Knicks at 39% shooting, 24% from the line, from the three-point line. And then on top of that, on your side of the game, Charlotte was so efficient on offense. They finished the game at 48.7% from the floor. And like I said, it reached into the third quarter where the Bugs in the third quarter, you kept seeing more and more of this potential. Hayward didn't have a big enough quarter in the game, but you just saw more and more of what Charlotte can bring to the table. And it was fun. Third quarter in the game, if you look at the statistics in the third quarter, it was really mostly the three-point shot of Devontae Graham he knocked out a couple three-pointers in the third quarter. He found his rhythm. And I know he's been in a shooting slump for a while, but it's good to see him bounce back out of that shooting slump. After struggling for literally, it feels like ions to Hornets fans how much he struggled throughout part of the game. Mike, with size, it does make a difference in the game. But when you look at what the Hornets did as a team, it's a good thing. When we asked when Devontae Graham was asked about the defense of the game tonight, because I'm talking about how good the defense was, he just said tonight's one of the major successes was the fact they mixed it up. What they're doing is confusing teams, and what they confused the Knicks tonight was great. They were switching up from man-to-man to zone to on-ball pressure, and he felt like tonight it was super successful when it came down to confusing Knicks and Tom Thibodeau. It's when you have all of that going on, and then you have Gordon Hayward. Like I said, I'll get back to Hayward in a second. The defense was one thing, and I don't know, watching the Charlotte Hornets over the last, I'd say the first 11 games, you can tell this is a totally different team than it was last year. It is a team that is enjoying themselves. You can feel the youth. At one point in the second quarter, you saw a 5-man unit on the court that were all Hornets draft picks over the last couple of years. And you can see that what Charlotte was using and Charlotte has done through the draft is starting to work. Some Hornets fans aren't happy the fact that they don't have a legitimate center or a rim protector. You know what? In small ball cases, it's not going to you're not going to get all the pieces you want. But this is exciting. Third quarter happens. Charlotte extends the lead. LaMelo Ball was just out there just distributing the ball. He hit a couple. He hit that one layup around the rim, but if you saw what he does and gets others involved, it makes the game so much easier. And when he got down to the fourth quarter, there wasn't much more the Knicks could do in the fourth quarter, as Charlotte, shot 9-15 from the floor. But what they did was they knocked down 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, knocked down 5 or 6 from beyond the deep line. Was it Bridges? I think was it 4 different Hornets knocked down 3-pointers in the quarter. Washington, Rozier, Ball, Miles, and the statistics. Yeah, I think 4 guys knocked down 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, and Charlotte just dominated. I mean, this was a game that New York, who is sliding and they're struggling, kind of the same way Atlanta is. New York just wasn't themselves tonight, and you have to give Charlotte a lot of credit to go 6-5. And so, what are we looking like the rest of the week for Charlotte? Before I go into what's going to happen on Wednesday night, we talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Let's give out game balls. All right. So, of course, we talked about Gordon Hayward, 34 points. The 28 in the first half. Didn't do much in the second half, but you really didn't need him in the second half. 34 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He had a block shot, and arguably the play of the game where he dunked on. We had the huge dunk in the game. I mean, it's the funny thing is Charlotte's undersized, but they lead the NBA in dunks. It's weird. I mean, a team like Charlotte, who's not one of the best field goal shooting teams in the league, leads the NBA in dunks and leads the NBA in assists. It's earth shattering. And not one guy averages 8 assists a game, which is even better. Big shout out to my man Bobby Shadow out in Newport Beach. Thank you for the love and stopping through with the hello as well too. We appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe and also support. Also at the same time, all more game balls. LaMelo Ball, 8 points. Wasn't his best offensive game. He shot 3 of 13 from the floor, but he provided 13 defensive rebounds with 14 total for the game, 7 assists, 3 steals, and a block. And you saw the defensive effort get better. And guess what? It's his 3rd game in a row where he had a plus on the plus-minus sheet. So you could tell he was affecting the game both sides of the ball with super energy. Like I said, and the 3rd game ball goes to my main man, Devontae Graham, 19.7 rebounds. All right, so Charlotte fans also got a chance to see Nick Richards finally hit the floor. He played 1 minute and 21 seconds, along with him and Jalen McDaniels, basically with 0 across the board, along with Vernon Carey Jr. Those guys really didn't do anything, but it's glad to finally see them on the floor. All the Hornets who were dressed played tonight with the exception of Malik Monk. All right. I know I'm not going to answer any Malik Monk questions tonight, so it is what it is. Caleb Martin off the bench, 5 points in 14 minutes. He did knock down his only 3-point attempt in the game. Cody Martin had 3 points as well, too. So the Hornets got contributions for everybody who played the game. Knicks led by Elfrid Payton. Like I said, Kevin Knox at 19. Julius Randle was held to 11 points. Elfrid Payton, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, negative 24 of the night. That's just kind of like the Knicks had tonight. So let's talk about what's going on the rest of the week. Tomorrow on Wednesday night, Charlotte does have a day off, and they play a nice little 3 games in the 4-night stretch before they get some much needed time away. On Saturday, they'll have the Dallas Mavericks come into town fresh off of the Hornets beating the Mavericks about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago in Dallas on a very poor night from Luka Doncic on the floor. What to expect? Okay, Charlotte's healthy. Charlotte's hot. Once again, I'm going to answer the question. No, LaMelo Ball does not need to start. This team has won 4 games in a row. There's no reason you should change up the what you already got. So you don't want to change that as well too. So you keep the lineup the way it is, but what you need to look for with Dallas is that this game could get canceled. I don't think this game might get played on Wednesday. So if you look at the option, because the Dallas Mavericks game was canceled tonight with the New Orleans Pelicans due to the Mavericks not having enough players due to either COVID or contact tracing. That's something you might want to be worried about if you're Charlotte. The Mavericks had missed a game tonight. They did not play. They had 2 players in protocol. 4 other players had tested positive or being around players that had COVID. Maxi Kleber, one of the guys who actually has COVID. This game is in danger of not happening on Wednesday. Hopefully players pass protocol, but we don't know. If players are out, if the Mavericks game does happen, there is one difference in the lineup for the Dallas Mavericks on Wednesday night. They will have the return of Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis was supposed to play tonight in his return against the New Orleans Pelicans. Of course, the game didn't happen. If this game is played on Wednesday night, you will see Kristaps Porzingis make his season debut against the Hornets. This changes things. Kristaps Porzingis, we don't know how many minutes he's going to play. We don't know how much he's practiced. Just know he's in uniform, and he does change games. He is not nicknamed the Unicorn for that reason. What he does better than most people around the league is that he does, and I mean he does block shots. He does knock down 3-pointers. He makes the game easier for Luka Doncic because you don't necessarily have to guard and double down Luka with Kristaps on the floor, because if they start running the pick and roll, you don't want to leave Porzingis behind a 3-point line. He's 7'3", but he has a 3-point shot behind him. Not saying he's Kevin Durant, but he's superly a dangerous player behind the 3-point line. Also, Gigi Saunders, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for showing the love as well too by stopping by the show tonight. I don't know if we're going to have a game on Wednesday night. But like I said, Dallas is one of the more entertaining teams in the league. Tim Hardaway Jr. in their game on their last game, I think it was on Sunday night, before they couldn't go back in action. He had 36 points against Orlando. He's going to hit buckets. Like I said, Porzingis, Josh Richardson's been playing really well. But like I said, we don't know which Mavericks are out. We don't know who's playing or not. Big shout out to my main man Peter on the Haps team up in Seattle. Much love to you guys over there. Thank you for the platform as always to be on here as well, to check out everything Peter does, and Pablo and Mark and everybody, the entire Haps team. Such a great group of guys and girls, and the team itself as well too. So like I said, I don't want to preview too much of this game on Wednesday night because, like I said, we don't know with Dallas' situation because they were supposed to play New Orleans tonight and they're out. As far as questions, other things today in Charlotte news. Listen, the G League draft happened today. And your Charlotte Hornets or the Greensboro Swarm had the top overall pick, and they drafted Admiral Schofield from the University of Tennessee. And so Admiral Schofield will join the team down in Orlando when we get started with the G League season, the abbreviated season sometime in February. Schofield, a guy that's a big body type of guy, about, I want to say 6'4", 6'5", about 230 pounds. He played kind of like the big guard, heavier guard / small forward role. He's way more athletic than people give him credit for because of his size. And listen, go back and watch his tapes at Tennessee. He was an all SEC performer at Tennessee. He's hard-nosed. He is a guy that will do the little things. And I think Charlotte fans and Greensboro fans will love him as well too. All right, couple notes from tonight's game. Devontae Graham tonight was a season high 19 points. And LaMelo Ball, once again, his 3rd consecutive game with 10 or more rebounds. He is the first rookie guard in franchise history to do that in 3 consecutive games. And Ball's 14 rebounds were the most and tied a franchise record for a rookie with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who had 14 back in 2013. Charlotte got, like I said, quick recap of the game. Once again, Charlotte had they got the lead down to as much as 6 in the third quarter. And then the Hornets would finish up the third quarter outscoring the Knicks 21-13. Hornets took control in the final quarter. They had a lead as much as 21 in the fourth quarter, which was the final score. Really, the only part of the game where the Hornets really kind of got scary was the fact that the Knicks got the lead, took the lead in the early part of the second quarter, down up 38-37. But the Hornets, like I said, they just took and ran the ball in the game as well, too. Charlotte finished the game statistically with 48% from the floor, one of the best field goal shooting games of the season. And here's another stat, Hornets fans. If the team holds somebody under 40% shooting, they are 4-0 this season. So many wonderful things to talk about the Hornets tonight. So many pluses that you would like to see, and so many things that you would like to have in a break. And even though they've played, I think it's now what they played tonight. I think it's 4 games in 6 nights. You would want to have the rest going into Wednesday if there's not a game, but you kind of want the momentum to continue, because what happens is when you play Wednesday, you have to go down to Tampa to play the Toronto Raptors on Friday and Saturday, and then at that point, you have about maybe 4 days off before they play Washington as well too. So big shout outs to everybody that stopped by the chat tonight. Like I said, we'll do this again Wednesday night. And if the Hornets are not playing on Wednesday night, we will preview I will come on the air on Wednesday night to preview the game against the home and home. Well, the double back-to-back home and home, I want to say baseball style, against the Toronto Tampa Raptors out in Tampa. What to expect from both teams, because listen, the Hornets are trending upwards while the Raptors not trending so well as well too. So big shouts to everybody in the chat. Like I said, great tonight, great win for the Bucks tonight by the final score of 109-88. I'm Danny Thompson, senior NBA writer for the 3-Point Conversion. Check out my work on the 3-Point Conversion, 3pointconversion.com, as well as also, if you are on YouTube, please check out all the videos between myself and Mr. Controversy. Dropping videos, that's how you do the government name this time. Dropping videos on a daily basis between interviews, post games, everything that you'll see with the Hornets. We're there on a daily basis. So we're bringing you all the coverage of LaMelo, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, and the entire team of the Charlotte Hornets, Coach James Borrego, and everybody else as well too. Also, subscribe to the channel over at hapstv.com. Download the app /@Danny Thompson. And also, please, if you love the work, become a member. So, go ahead and give your monthly donation. Like I say, even if it's 50 cents a month, we do. Like I said, I appreciate it as a journalist. As we do this, not just we do it for the love of what we do, but we also enjoy being able to bring this content to you at no additional cost as well too. So if you'd like to donate and be a sponsor of this show, of the podcast and everything else that's going to be the video podcast and everything else in between, please by all means do it. So I will check you guys out on Wednesday night. Like I said, enjoy your night. Stay safe out there. Please wear your mask. And at all times, like I said, it's BuzzCity, baby. We'll catch you guys for the BuzzCity show on Wednesday night. I'm Danny Thompson from the 3-Point Conversion. Check you guys out on Wednesday. Be safe.